Well, after 2 nights at Dalhouse, last night the weather came in. It's raining, 18 degrees, and we're still in the desert, and it's March. Make our way now towards Oodnadatta, all going well. And it's been raining, so looks like we've got a day of steady travel with chopped up road. We're the first vehicle through this track today after the rain last night, so I've got no real indication of what lies ahead in terms of slippery slide. I presume they are encrusted rock from sedimentary origins, and we pop up onto the surface of this area. Despite the rain, the road with its gravelly top is in still good condition, but I don't think there's been as much rain here today. You can see there part of the original homestead in the distance and one of the store sheds here nearer in. This is the cattle yards. Alls is part of the area between the Simpson and Pedirka deserts, part of the Great Central as we called it. And as you can see, with the wet road, it's quite a slip sliding away. Well, we're just leaving the Simpson Desert and Wichura National Park or Conservation Area and heading into the Great Central Pedirka Desert area. This is one of these situations where if you try to get out of the water and up onto the stuff to the side, you just slide back into the water of the wheel tracks, and the stuff on the sides and in the middle is just rocks sitting on top of clay, which is now, of course, with the rain turned to a soft mud. So these are the sorts of conditions which are not at all good for the roads, and certainly understandable why local authorities will close these roads once they've had this much rain. In fact, I suspect when we get to the other end of this road, there will be road closure notices being put out or put up or whatever. Beautiful cloud front coming over there, which I guess spells more rain. So the sooner we get out of this wet road stuff into good roads, the better for us and the road. Rather spectacular here in the Great Central Desert between the Simpson and Pedirka. We just had a couple of kangaroos hop across in front of us at a creek, and 3 emus off to the left there at the moment. And as you can see, the road is not exactly straight and narrow in terms of our tracks. Seeing this on the BMS navigator, so we know where to go back to should we get lost, which we won't, but anyway. And I'm wondering if the track log will have the sensitivity on the BMS unit to show the constant changing direction of the vehicle, where at one point a little while ago we did a full 90-degree turn. Notice here we're still in the Gibber Plain ironstone country, but we're heading into what looks like riverine floodplain vegetation. So it's been a steady trip here this morning. There we go, we're in 4-wheel drive, and you just slide sideways off the ridges into the other wheel tracks. So you've got very limited control, and very important that you run slowly. I've seen too often situations, vehicle roll over where they've sped in these conditions, and they're not pretty sights. When you see one of these clay pans in the wet like this, you can understand why it's important you don't drive out on them. But beautiful red sand dunes here as we move through the Great Central from the Simpson to Pedirka Desert. This is called heart-in-mouth driving. Got to keep that momentum up, minimise the skidding, spinning of the tyres, so you don't want to accelerate too much. And with the forward motion we went into the water, that helps carry us through. So we're just coming up to the Pedirka ruins, and they were part of the old Ghan railway service that ran from Port Augusta to Alice Springs. Here we are on the eastern section of the Pedirka Desert, headed towards Hamilton Creek, and we just passed some people that advised us that conditions improved. That's one of the good reasons why I always stop and have a yarn to whoever's going the other way. So they've advised that all roads out of Oodnadatta are now closed, and so once we get to Oodnadatta, that's where we'll be staying for a day or two. We're just crossing Hamilton Creek, and coming up in front of us is the Hamilton Station homestead. A little oasis in the desert. Nice, neat, well-maintained property. Now we've done the turn off from Wichita and Simpson Desert and Mount Dare. They all went to the north and northeast, and we're now heading south. The VMS is telling me we're heading 99 degrees, so a bit southeastish. We're up to 172 now, so we're heading due south at the moment, but it'll change as we swing backwards and forwards around the road which follows Old June Crest and so on. It's the Pedirka Desert. I can never quite fathom how you can have a cattle station that can survive in the middle of a desert, but here you have it. We've just left Hamilton Station, shifting into Mount Sarah Station country, and the edge of the Pedirka Desert goes away to our west. We're almost heading due south, and as you can see, it's a good easy road, and despite the rain, we're leaving no tracks at all now after 4 or 5 hours of no rain. And you can see these wonderful parallel dunes that form up the Pedirka Desert that run basically west-southwest to north-northeast. The turn off into Mount Sarah Station, and as you can see with the road here, it looks to me like there's been at least 3 or 4 vehicles either come out of or go into Mount Sarah since the rain. So we're still skirting the edge of the Pedirka Desert. We're about 37 kilometres south of Hamilton Station, and lovely red sand dunes again, or sand dune, and I know there's some more over there to the left, and with these clay pan and muddy swales in between. We're presently on a detour which goes to the west of what's called Fogarty's Clay Pan. It's you can imagine the road across Fogarty's Clay Pan, which we're on the detour for at the moment, but you can see out there just how flat it is, and also the water lying on it, and after the rain we've just had, it would make it very unsafe travel. This is Alberga Creek, about halfway to Oodnadatta from Hamilton Station. We're about 50 k's out of Oodnadatta, so it's a beautiful little riverine situation, nice sandy floored creek with river gums and slippery bits of road. Then we come back up into the box trees, and then back to the gidgee wattle and wattles associated with the desert sand dunes. And we're now about 30 or 40 k's out of Oodnadatta. We've just entered the northern section of Todmorden Station, and we're technically in boundary of the Pedirka Desert in the Great Central, and to our west from here is the Painted Desert, which is another one of those pocket handkerchief sized deserts in Australia. Good, we should strike the Oodnadatta track in about 20 or 30 km. Just coming into one of those ironstone Gibber Plains areas with some creamy coloured dunes or small hills in the distance. Real typical arid, semi-arid Australia. Gibber Plains. Red ironstone country. We're just coming up to the junction between the Oodnadatta track and the track that comes in from the Hamilton Station, Mount Dare and the Simpson Desert. And sorry about the mud on the windscreen. So here we'll go left down to Oodnadatta, which is about, I think, another 20 or 30 k's, and then we're going to sit in Oodnadatta for a day or so because the roads have been closed. There it is, 17 kilometres to the Pink Roadhouse. Some really interesting little eroded jump ups or breakaways that occur here, and they remind me very much of the Apradinna Knolls on Knolls Track in the Simpson Desert. So I wonder if they are a gypsum dune that's been solidified, or old seafloor material, or what, I don't know. And I think that's Mount Albany is the main peak straight ahead. Here's Oodnadatta. Just coming into town now. Bitumen Road, my gosh. There's a railway museum here, and I'll have a look. We've got the general store, Memorial Hall there on the right.